Hello, good evening, everyone. Yep, there you have it. Thank you for joining us. And today is January 6th, 2020. We're going to once again review your favorite stocks. So if this is not your first time, you know the drill. Just go ahead and drop a comment for your stocks to be prioritized in our review today. If not, if this is your first time, we usually we review your favorite stocks, and we based on the performance of today's market, we are going to see if your stock will potentially move up or down. And we are not recommending any stock here. We just purely read the charts based on the indicators that we use: Bollinger Band and RSI. Okay, so this is Miss JD. If this is your first time in our channel, please do subscribe. Okay, there. Okay, let's give our friends a few minutes to join us. Okay, all right, so let's begin. Just feel free to drop a comment, guys. For now, I will just look at all the stocks. Okay, so lucky for those people who have positions in these stocks, but I will sort this according to stocks with the highest trades, and then we'll work our way downwards. All right, let's see how the index performed today. Okay, all right, so we're currently sitting at the MA29 for our PSE, and we had some dips today. It even reached as low as 7702.39. So let's see, hopefully this does not break your MA20 line. And I don't feel good, but sometimes MA20 is really a very powerful indicator, and most of the time you will see stocks bouncing in this area. So it's still a wait and see game for our uh, top 30. Okay, when you say index, this is composed of the top 30 companies in the Philippine market. So since it's red, you will notice today that most of the stocks are in fact red in their performance. Okay, all right, so we have Paulo de los Reyes with us tonight. Good evening, Paulo. Okay, Paulo wants MEG, PNB, MBT, AXLM. Okay, let's do that then. Prioritize your stock. 1 second, let me just pull up a notepad so I can easily put this in our thumbnail later. MBT. Okay, there you go. Right, so let's talk about MEG. By the way, how's my audio? Is my audio okay? Just let me know, Pao, okay? MEG. Okay. Alright, so very good move, MEG. So we said that this is already a bounce for MEG, seeing that last January 2 and January 3, price started at this level. And yes, true enough, we see a green candlestick, although we are currently sitting at the MA20 line. So the price even reached like 1 cent higher than today's price. So I would have to say by tomorrow, if the price does not cross your MA20 line and finish with a red candlestick, that would mean this MA20 line served really indeed its purpose, um, it being a resistance. Okay, so what you can do here is really monitor where the sentiment is by tomorrow. Okay, because if the sentiment happens mostly below the MA20 line, then chances are it will revisit your support, which we have already identified at the moment. Then it might even go sideways before it moves up. All right, so in the meantime, just monitor and then just plot this so that you know which areas to take a look at. Okay, thank you, Paulo. MBT. MBT is also a wait and see game. We ended a red candlestick today. At the same time, your MA20 line is pointing downwards. So we have to as well, okay, check if this area will sustain. So I'd like to plot an imaginary support in this level because take a look at this. So for several days it touched this area, also have previous resistance here and some consolidation that happened in the area. Okay, so it can be slightly higher or lower. Now seeing a red today, the next possible movement for MBT is really to challenge this support that we have created. Now when the price reaches that level, once again let's take a look at how the candlestick ended, the formation of the candlestick. At the same time, let's see if your RSI is still giving us that momentum. So goal is when it reaches this area, you want your RSI price to show us an upward direction. Okay, so that's uh, the expected behavior. Once we see that, then chances are it's not going to happen the next day, but we feel that any moment from that point forward, you can either have a sideways movement, something like this, sideways movement first before it goes up. Okay, so that's the probability. PNB. PNB, okay. So we have crossed the MA20 line, so that's a good thing, and that's the start. Now, it's just trying to, for me, it is just trying to stabilize in the area. And the next possible movement here is uh, if it will slightly overshoot to the downside, I would have to say the next possible movement for this stock is sideways because we already had a very significant drop in the price over here. And notice right now, it's giving us that sideways movement. And hopefully this thing does not break, otherwise the next price it will challenge would be this level for your next possible area of support. Okay, but definitely just monitor. I'm not sure though if you have already entered in this stock and it just dropped, but for those people who still would like to enter, because we understand PNB is a very established bank here in the Philippines, try to monitor how the market or how the price performs in this level, because this is already a good opportunity to start accumulating volume. Okay, first this should not break. If it breaks, this could be a next area to watch out for. Notice your RSI is really, it's giving us a very steep um, formation to the upside while the price was moving downwards over here. Your RSI is already giving us a reverse or an opposite direction. And once we have this kind of pattern, that means price will bounce. And true enough, right in this area, it bounced. So it did apply, it did execute the expected behavior here. It's just that probably right now it's just resting And if it rests, could be here or here. Next would be AXLM. Okay, and next possible move. So we are a bit bullish for AXLM, and you might see start of uh, okay, you might see the price start to trigger here, okay, the upper Bollinger Band. But definitely some people, since there are so many traders in the Philippine market, it might have some wick, okay. It was first challenge the upper band, could even reach that high, and some people will take profit, and you will see a wick most likely happening above a candlestick. Okay, a wick is this thin line that you see either below the body or either above the body of a candlestick, and then that would mean at one point of any given day the price reached that level. Okay, so seeing that we have 1, 2, 3 days um, giving us bullish price levels, I feel that there's really more, there's a high chance of it moving upward because we're still at a very cheap level. But just take note, people might take profit, and that could be your opportunity to enter. So let us see if the market gives it a chance in this level. Okay, so let us say it starts here, triggers that, and then maybe revisits this. And if you have a confirmation, okay, another green candlestick perhaps to form right in this area, probably you have one day ending right here, and then another day starting again right here, and then ends up there. So that would mean your support is now confirmed. Okay, 2.93 that is. All right, so I'm glad I was able to complete your request, Paulo. Next is Ems Pablo, DMC. Let's check out DMC. Oh, it's a bounce. It's a bounce. And this is the support that we see. Okay. And looks like it respected that area, and it's a bounce. Uh, I, I feel that we might now have some more bullish movements to the upside. And let's just use 6.27 as our nearest support. Okay, take note, and we all understand that the price can reach, it could start here, right? Tomorrow could be a 6.69 start price, or a price starts at that level, and definitely price can go up and down the entire day. And let's see how the market behaves when you see that touching 6.27 area. But conservatively, that's the support that we are seeing, and I feel that we're still very early in the game because this is already a bounce for DMC. And look at the risk to reward ratio. There's really uh, a high chance that you will be profitable based on where it is at right now. But definitely, guys, being in the stock market really requires a lot of patience. We see the potential of the stock, but it doesn't mean by tomorrow you will be profitable by 15%, by 20%, right? So you could be profitable by another 3% tomorrow, but it's all up to you if you want to take profit or just hold on to it. Okay? And then ask yourself, why did you enter this particular company? Are you trading it? Or you believe in the fundamentals? That's why you are in that particular company. Okay, and that's for AMS. APX for Jenny. Okay. Hmm. What is in the news? Volume starting to pick up. So, if you are trading this stock, I would have to say this is a profit taking area. That is why when it reached this level, which is this resistance right here, okay, right, that's a resistance for several days. It reached that level, and you also have your support here. It consolidated in that area multiple times. So I think the next area that it will, if it's really going to sustain, okay, let me just do this, all right? I would like to show you how to use a Fibonacci retracement. Where could it possibly bounce? So now this is the wick. There are two ways to plot your Fibonacci retracement. From the lowest point, you can either start plotting it at the end of the wick. So if you do that, you also have to consider the wick on the highest point. Okay? So if you want to use the body, therefore you can only use the body here as well. And since we considered it here, okay, see that? You're right. So first area that it will potentially challenge as a nearest possible area of bounce is the 1.10. If that breaks, of course, the next support that it will challenge is the 1.06 and then 1.03, and the lowest right there sitting at the MA20 line is 1 peso level. So, yep, that is why you would hear people say work on trenches, or if you want to get in trenches, right? So at least you can manage your risk. So wait till you see a confirmation, right? When you say confirmation, wait for another green candlestick to probably start in this level and of course end much higher than the previous candlestick, or let's say even if it's not higher, what the point there is, you have your price start at that area before you can say, okay, that's a bounce. Because if it breaks, then the same concept. Bring this concept down over here. That breaks, bring it over here. But worse, if it breaks this line, then definitely you now have a new direction. More movements to the downside. But definitely, because we already have 3 consecutive days already moving above the MA20 line, it's just a matter of really finding out where could it potentially bounce, either here, 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 or here. Okay, so that is for you, Genevieve. Okay, so please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is your way of supporting Miss JD so we can continuously do this advocacy and, of course, start influencing more people in the Philippines, and not just in the Philippines, around the globe. Okay. Okay, so globe, not just mentioning the word globe. Globe over here is respecting, okay? Globe is respecting your MA20 line. This is where I'd like to plot our support. Right. Okay, so if you want to get in, let's see how your market or how the price reacts when it reaches this level, 1978.95. Reason why I said that that could be your potential support, but slowly we're moving higher, okay? Look at that. We're moving higher. So since it's an area, Let's see if this continues to bounce in this level, right? So I'll put another line over here because most of the price starts in that area. So not that far, 1991, 1991.37 against 1978. So if you want to start accumulating volume, this 2 points over here are good areas to buy. Again, even though it's already a bit high, let us see how far is the peak. Okay, so the peak is right over here, like a strong resistance forming in that area. Okay, so it has been moving sideways with big fluctuations in the price. So yes, still I would have to say, if you'd like to engage in Globe for long term, you still have a very promising position at the moment. All right, that's a good 13.70% potential. Okay, there you have it. Okay, so thank you for the new joiners. Please just drop a comment if you'd like us to review. Otherwise, I can go ahead and proceed with the next stock that is or that was highly traded today. Okay, so far we have just reviewed MEG, PNB, MBT, AXLM, DMC, APX, and Glow. Right, let's continue. So we have okay, now go to all stocks, go to my chart first. Oh, sorry about that. And then I'm actually sorting it on a separate tool over here. Still in Investograms. Okay, let me just do that here. All stocks, and then trade, then highest first. Okay, so we've just reviewed MWC. Let's check out Ali. But don't mind me, guys. If you have your request, just drop a comment so I can check that out for you. Oh yeah, Meg is done, but let me quickly show that to you. So I was mentioning earlier, you have it actually respected our insights last weekend, and yeah, it moved slightly higher than Friday's candlestick, but we're now sitting at the resistance area. So there are two possibilities. If you see some rejection happening in the area of 4.12 tomorrow, so chances are it might go back to 3.92. Now, if price crosses the MA20 line and starts higher than the 4.12 level, then most likely we now have a brand new wave, and most of the action might continue to the upside. But overall, you have a very good position. The risk to reward ratio is really promising. The reward part is still high, then the risk is very, very near your bottom. There you have it. So going back to Ali. Ali is still triggering the lower Bollinger Band, and we have very obvious signs. Okay, so when you see this thing showing up, then most likely we'll have some more movements happening below your MA20 line, and seeing the candlestick stick as well. Yeah, it's somehow challenging that area. So let us see if it will still touch. Okay, so the next, okay, 42.63 is the next possible area to watch out for. Okay, no, 42.66, this point, and of course some consolidation that happened here. So that is the reason why we are saying that that's the nearest support. At the same time, this is also your nearest resistance. So concept wise, when your previous resistance gets broken and we now start moving above your MA20 or your resistance area, okay, then chances are when it dips, it will just challenge this level again. Previous resistance now becoming your support. A resistance is like a ceiling, right? That when price reaches that level, rejection is normally happening, but because there's volume, okay, more people feel that this is still very promising in the price. That's why it gets broken. And when it gets broken, normally you have a sentiment moving on the upside. And then not every day is a green day, so it will revisit and it will create another support in that area. There you have it. Dad, good evening. ABBA fruit and B core for you. Okay, let's do that. ABBA. ABBA. Okay, sign of weakness. Actually, we've seen the weakness happening last Friday. We ended right here, but it still managed to test your resistance, but eventually everyone felt that the price is starting to become expensive and it will rest. It will rest, but how far down are we going to rest? Let us check. Okay. First area of possible bounce here. Okay. 1, 2, 3. For 3 days here, it touched that area. And then if you move backwards, you also had this area. Okay. But this one is slightly higher in terms of the peak. But yeah. So let us check. Otherwise, you can do this. Fibonacci retracement again. The nearest low, and then we used up to the wick. Then we use that too up to the wick over here. Okay, so see that? We're not very far from the next recommendation of your Fibonacci retracement. Next possible area of bounce would be 0.85. Okay, 0.85. Interesting. My manual plot also said 0.85. So we're still, oh yeah, because the price level is less than 1 peso. So still you will see it's 0.85. Next, if it dips, next price would be 0.82, and then amazing. Look at that. Next price is 0.80, which is your MA20 line. Very powerful. Okay, so at least you know the areas to watch out for and see if price creates a stabilization in that area, and that's when you enter. Okay, do not just randomly enter and then say that, okay, it's already cheap. That's dangerous. Wait for stabilization first to come out before you enter. All right, there you have it. Next would be fruit. Fruit starting to show the MA20 line and your RSI. Talking about short term, right? This is the short term. Actually, you're sitting at a short term resistance right now. Used to be a support over here. So if but overall, I would have to say in the coming days we will most likely move within the upper Bollinger Band. No, no, above the MA20 line. I mean, okay, so first you might see sideways, and then this price might start to trigger your resistance, which is this area. So you might see price movement happening within this range, okay, before it goes up. But that's the area, okay? So that could be your resistance right now. You might see prices moving here and slightly dip, and then most of the action really triggering this until such time it breaks that. But I would have to say the dips won't be very drastic, because overall you are at a manageable price, given that at one point it even reached on the first day 2.45. So it is just, at the moment, trying to find its true market value. So I'd have to say, if you are patient, okay, check if the market gives you a chance at 1.24. This is a good entry price for me. Okay, so if you see rejection happening in that area, but if, for example, the price starts above the 1.43 that we have plotted, then you can say, let me just remove the drawing. You might have something like this. If the price starts higher than that, then stabilize and create a support in this area before it goes up. Okay, so two possibilities, but depending on where the sentiment is tomorrow, that will really influence the next possible movement of fruit. And now let's talk about B Core. B Core, okay, promising. Knowing that these two candlesticks are, very significant drop for B Core. And I forgot what I said about this during this day, but I really felt that that was already a profit taking area. We initially mentioned that, we test this level, but now where could we? Hmm. This is what I think. This will most likely play an important role here. This area, okay. Previous resistance, previous support, and previous resistance over here. Also touch this area. Okay, so that part will most likely, so it could be slightly higher or slightly lower. Okay, there. Okay, 3.10 level. But I wonder how this implies right here. So some people just probably felt that this is a cheap level already. That's why you had some rejection, but we still um, feel that those people who have entered here and have started to accumulate in this area will still take some profit. In fact, I feel that some of them have started to take profit in tranches as well, right? And let's see if the price reaches this area. And if you're interested in B Core, see if there's a confirmation. That could be a good entry price again. Let's take a look at how it looks like, how it pans out on a weekly level. Okay, amazing. Look at that. The area where we plotted in a weekly chart is in fact your MA20 level. So what does this mean? Why did I expand to a weekly chart? A weekly chart gives you a much clearer picture if you're talking about long-term perspective. Some long-term investors even zoom out to a monthly level. When you say weekly or monthly, every candlestick would mean 1 week. In this case, 1, 2, 3, 4. It started first week of December, and the entire week of December, this stock has been very bullish, and it's just that today, this week, is the start of it is possible that it is really the start of the bounce. But just in case, it's just a Monday, price could fluctuate and even gives you a chance at 3.10 before it officially gives everyone a chance for a bounce. Okay, so just watch out in those areas. 3.10. There you have it. Okay, we now have more people joining. So don't be shy, guys. If this is your first time, all you have to do is just drop a comment for the stocks that you would like to be reviewed. And there are no silly questions here. If this is the very first time you encounter this live session, what we're doing here is we're doing live analysis of stocks. If you don't know how to read charts, just let me know, drop a comment, and then I can explain that for you. That is the objective, after all, of this uh, channel. We want to simplify things. We want to make sure that stock market is not complex. We break it down into manageable concept so that all of us will be able to engage in it someday, right? Okay, so let me just continue. We did MWC, we did LE, we now check out ICT. ICT, okay. ICT is currently sitting at the nearest resistance. Actually, it's within that range as well. So that is our resistance over here. So let us see if it breaks that resistance, or what we call our ceiling. If it breaks that up to the upside. Oh, hold on. I'm still on the weekly chart, but it's still the same. You just have more candlesticks to represent 1 week. But look at that. We're still sitting at the resistance area, and chances are this stock might rest if most of the action happens below that line. Otherwise, if it breaks that, then you will have a brand new wave. If it starts higher than your yellow line over there that we have plotted. If most action happens downwards, then it will potentially just respect wherever your MA20 line is. MA20 line being your support. Okay? So you can even plot a triangle that looks like that. So it is not crooked. Okay, just do that. So most likely, if you're still going to dip, it will first do this. If you're still going to have that kind of sentiment. Okay, but the moment it breaks this green line, then you now have a different direction moving downwards. Okay, JFC is just resting, everyone. Um, this is a good opportunity for all of us to really start accumulating volume. If this thing breaks, okay, and continues to dip, but look at that, when it dipped, um, just within the day, people felt that, hey, that price is already low, that's why they started buying again. Okay, so let's see if this holds. MA20 line holds. So it will just most likely do this and then continue to go up if it holds. But if it does not, then your nearest support that I can see for all of us to closely monitor, that would be this level. 200.97. The next support that it'll challenge. Otherwise, if it goes lower, Just in case the market gives me a chance in this area, I will really add volume because I'm also in JFC. My average here is 219. But look at that. Zoom out and see what the potential is for Jollibee. Okay. BPI. BPI, we're now moving above that line, above the MA20 level. So I'd like to plot this area as our support, and let's see if it sustains. But overall, there's still promising risk to reward ratio over here. And look at that. We even reached this high. Okay, so like JFC, BPI is, as we all know, BPI is one of the leading banks in the Philippine market, and the chances of it really dipping big time is really low because it's very stable, one of the part of the index. Okay, but definitely it's still very important for us to understand how technical analysis works so that you can um, enter at the right timing. We all know that fundamental wise, talking about the fundamentals, there's a strong recommendation that this company is promising. But when are you going to enter? Is it at 100, or is it at the area where you can haggle at a much lower price? Let's say 81 pesos. Of course, whenever a chance knocks at our door, when the price hits a low level, that's when we enter so that we can be profitable, even if we talk about short term or long term. So that's why we take, we meticulously take a look at every candlestick every single day because of that main reason. Enter low and exit high. As to when do we exit and take our profit, now that becomes a question, depending on your profile. Are you a trader or an investor? So let's see the difference. All right, let's continue. MBT is done. SM. SM, I see, just looking at where the Bollinger Band is pointing right now, downwards. So most likely we'll have, some lower lows and lower highs happening in the coming days. But where could it potentially bounce? So there are a lot of support that we see. So the distance between the next support are very close, right? So let's still wait. But if you want, uh, just wait for that solid confirmation. But the most obvious one that I see is right here. Okay, so just in case the market gives you a chance at the 972 area, just check out. We will once again check what RSI is saying against the bottom, because once it reaches this area, that's what we call double bottom. And over here, okay, so what we want to see here is that price moving in an upward direction while the price level hits this area. See that? Okay, but for now, first area to watch out for, if that breaks, next area to watch out for would be 972. Okay. We talked about fruit. Tell. Interesting. We're very near. So this is the bottom that we have that we see. Okay, and slowly we're changing. We're starting to show a reversal in this particular company. Okay, so anywhere from where it is at right now to 989 level, that's already a very good entry price. That's a bottom that we see right there. Okay, and enter in tranches as always. Tell PLDT, no questions asked. You're already at a very, very low level right now. Okay, so a good area to start accumulating. CHP. Okay. Significant drop. I think this was influenced by the news that came out. So let's see. Read that. I have not read the news, but if you know anything about CHP, the content of this um, most likely have influenced the drop in the price. Stock rights offer 1.54. There you go. So 1.54 against 1.85. People are taking profit, but just closely monitor it because you're very near 1.54. Um, stock rights offer. I don't know. Let's see. Hold on. Let me just open it on a different page. I think this is similar to the story of ISM where they added more volume floating in the public, right? And I think they offered around 1 point something. That's why there was a massive drop in the price. But let's see a CHP. What is that news all about? News. 1.54 share. I'll just read this very, very quickly. Please bear with me so that we can give context. Okay. Okay, they're trying to raise funds. Okay, cement maker Cemex Holdings Philippines has priced its stock rights offering at 1.54 per share, allowing the company to raise 12.77 billion in fresh capital for its expansion program. They need capital. Existing shareholders are entitled to subscribe to 1.5963 rights share for every one common share held as of record date. So about 8.29 billion common shares, there you go, will be offered from January 20 to 24. So they're most likely, if I got this right, they're adding more shares available for the public to buy so that the funds that they are able to get will be used in their expansion program. And that may have influenced the drop in price because currently, before the news came out, the price was 2.09. So if you're an investor, where will you get it? At a 2.09 or at a 1.54 level? Okay, so most likely price will continue to go down and it will just match the appraised value, okay, that the news has given us, 1.54 level. Could be slightly higher for people who want to play safe, right? They want to get in before the bottom hits, but 1.54 would be the for me the next support. But the chart, look at the chart. Next would be 1.62. Okay, but at least you know that it will drop. That's next. SMPH. Okay, SMPH giving us some signs of weakness. So we might see some more movements downward. And let us see if the MA20 line will be respected right over here. Okay, MA20. Disregard this. We might move this up here. Okay, but then again, first it will challenge MA20 before the price that I have plotted in here, 40.64. Okay, so that's for SMPH. P-Core. P-Core, gap up, but did not sustain. Really, really fast. You know the concept of filling the gap. Okay, sometimes when you have gap ups, okay, first of all, let me state the concept. When a price initiates a gap up or a gap down, chances are the price will revisit and fill that gap. As to when, sometimes that's where it varies. Sometimes it fills the gap within the day, or it will fill the gap days after, or even months after. Okay, so what happened right here, it started, you had a price end at 4.18, and then suddenly when the market opened, it started at 4.31. People were very bullish. Oh, there's a gap up, let's buy some more, until it reached this level. And I bet those people who entered in these areas are the newbies. And then before the market closed, the traders took profit, bringing the price down. And it filled that gap partially. So I feel that it will continue to go down and probably challenge your MA20 area. Hopefully it does not break that MA20 line. Okay, we hold on. Hopefully it does not break that line. So it might give you sideways before it continues to go up. But the moment it breaks that line, next support would be this level. Okay, see the difference? Okay, so yep, we're reaching the 50-minute mark. Do you guys have any other questions for your stock? If not, okay, so allow me to wrap up. If this is your first time to visit our live session, we're doing this every day. We, like these people who have commented on our live session, they drop a comment for their stocks to be reviewed, and then I prioritize them, okay, because you guys are already there listening to me. If not, I go back to what's trending, stocks with the highest trades, because those people who might not have listened to us might stumble onto this recording, and then they might um, find their stocks there. But definitely go ahead and subscribe, please, so that we can grow this network, we can grow this channel, and we can help more Filipinos really understand the stock market. After all, it's not that complicated. It just requires a skill. And a skill, remember, a skill is formed when you're doing it repeatedly. It it starts to create a muscle memory that it becomes second in nature. The moment you see it, later on, it doesn't require much time for you to understand the message it gives you looking at the patterns. Okay, so that is our goal. Understand the concept of the stock market, the benefits of the stock market, later on, understand the charts and the patterns and movements. Okay, so for now, thank you guys. Let's all rest and have a good night. Let's chat again tomorrow. Please do subscribe to our channel. Bye bye for now.